Hello, I am third basketball officials. My name is Eric Huster, and I am the assistant director for I am third. This year, Ches Marks is still our basketball director, so you will still be in contact with him, but I get the opportunity to lead this presentation. For those of you that knew Charlie Gullett, he transitioned out of I'm Third back in February as I was actually transitioning in. So you will see me around the building, around the gyms on game days, and probably interacting with me in some form or fashion. So I'm looking forward to meeting everybody and getting back out on the courts. We weren't sure if we were going to actually have a season. Um, but as you can see, we had to make a few alterations and make our 5v5 league really a 3v3 league just due to the COVID situation right now. So as you go through this PowerPoint presentation, you'll see a few adjustments that we have made. And so if you have any questions or concerns, you can always reach out to Ches. Now we'll just go ahead and move on to our general overview. Games are set to begin the weekend of November 6th through the 8th. You'll see that we have games on Friday nights, and we had to do that just due to the high volume of kids that we have. So you'll have games Friday night and all day Saturday. The 8th, which is a Sunday, those are going to be reserved for high school games. I won't get much into those. Those will be communicated out a little bit later by Ches. We won't have any games Wednesday through Saturday on Thanksgiving weekend. However, we will be playing games Monday and Tuesday leading up to Thanksgiving. So that's a little bit different. Facility logistics, you'll see a little bit difference when you guys come in. We'll get into this a little bit later, but if you referee the main, you'll enter and exit through the Takes Creek Road / I am Third office doors. If you referee the Foundry, you'll enter and exit on the building east side, which is more of the old Mount Tabor Road. Game times on Fridays range about 5:30 to 9. Saturday, it'll start as early as 8 a.m., but finish no later than 9. And this will be the last comment I made about high school. Those games look like they'll run from 1 to 9 p.m. on Sundays. If you've refereed with us with 3v3 in the past, we're typically around 150 kids. This year, you see the jump. We're up to about 800 plus kids. So definitely a lot more. That's why you see us playing on Friday nights. And so it's just a little bit different. We've had to space a lot more out. So game days will just look a little bit different than usual. Now, on to expectations. We expect if we set a time on Friday night or Saturday that you guys will arrive 30 minutes before your scheduled time. This will allow you guys enough time to get dressed, get prepared for the game. It'll make it an easier transition between shifts and stuff like that. So please arrive close to that as possible. Attire, bring your own black and white striped referee shirt, and you're going to wear that with black shorts or pants. You're going to tuck that in. We're really encouraging you guys also to wear black shoes. We really want to look the part. So we're going to look for that type of outfit. No whistles. We're going with the electronic whistles. So if you can go out and bring your own, that'd be great. We'll also have a few extra here if you aren't able to get it within the first few weeks. Finally, no wearing hats or really headwear of any sort, meaning no like sunglasses, bandanas, anything like that. If it's a pair of prescription glasses, obviously we're going to be okay with that. But once again, we want to look professional as we're out there working for these kids and families. Next point, be engaged and focused during your games. This means no sitting, standing in one spot, talking to the scorekeeper while we're playing games and stuff. Make sure you're locked in, moving yourself into the right position, best position possible to call the best fouls or call the best game you can. We aren't expecting you to run up and down the court because we're only half court, but just make sure that you're engaged. Finally, conduct yourself in a professional manner when interacting with coaches, players, parents or staff. I know sometimes we got parents that are pretty hyper, but that does not give us the right to bite back and yell back at those parents. Unfortunately, in our position, we kind of just have to take it and be able to handle those type of comments and stuff in a professional manner and just move on from those. So those were kind of our expectations. Now we're kind of moving on to scheduling. Ches will be your main point of contact. You will be scheduled 2 weeks at a time. Either contact Ches via his cell phone, which his number is below, or Ches will reach out to you and start scheduling things. If you don't answer his text that same day, we'll give you a call the next day to check your discuss your availability. You see Chez's phone number there. Call-in protocols. You must notify us 2 days before your shift if you can't work. This may alter a little bit with COVID and stuff, but this will allow us to adjust and find a sub for you if you cannot work. So please, can't stress that enough. That is the expectation being set right there. So make sure you keep that in the back of your mind as we go throughout the season. Now, rules. In general, familiarize yourself with these rules. They are a little bit different. You're going to have a lot of questions being thrown your way. Get yourself familiarized with it. Here's some key points. We'll only have one ref per game, except for high school. That will be talked about a little bit later. Games will be scored by a one-pointer or two-pointer basis, not our typical 2s and 3s. Tip will be decided by a coin toss, not an actual tip. Just because we aren't playing a full court game, it just doesn't make sense to do that. And then overtime rules. Overtime will be determined by a golden goal, also kind of known as sudden death, but this is what we're going to call it. So that means first team that scores, whether it's free throw, layup, jump shot, three-pointer, half-court shot, whatever. First team to score will win the game. This will keep us on track when it comes to scheduling. Now, building logistics. When you enter the main gym, and just in general, there will be no cross-watching. So you can't go from your main gym and have a 10-minute break and walk over to the foundry and watch. We are going to actually bar that off. We're keeping the foundry and the main gym separate. You see there, if you work in the main gym, you're going to park on Tates Creek Road side, which is the I Am Third office side. You'll enter and exit through the double doors, and then you'll use the bathrooms down the hall from our offices. As for the foundry, park on the foundry side, enter building E doors, and you'll exit the foundry doors. If you need to go to the bathroom, use the bathrooms right next to the foundry. You won't walk down to our offices and stuff. We're, once again, trying to prevent any cross interactions or clusters amongst groups. So you'll see that as a difference when you're refereeing some games on game day with us. Now, COVID protocols. Basically, probably what you guys are listening into to really figure out what we're doing. Implementation. You're going to have to complete a COVID acknowledgement and release form. Ches will get that to you. You must complete that. Some guidelines. You'll be screened upon entry. Temperature must be 100.4 degrees or lower. Otherwise, you will be turned away. Bring your own referee equipment. This is water, snacks, etc. We will provide lunches, but snacks and waters and stuff, you'll have to bring on your own. Masks will be required if you cannot maintain a 6-foot physical distance. That basically means if you have to go break up a fight or something like that, put your mask on. If you're talking to a coach in a close proximity, put a mask on. Otherwise, you don't have to have it on. Some protocols. If you personally test positive, you must email or text us. Assist our staff on contract tracing. You'll be required to do a 10 to 14 day quarantine away from us, and you'll have to provide a negative test result before you come back to us. For a direct or indirect exposure, email us or text us. Not all cases are alike, and we'll work with you. Direct exposure is if you were directly around somebody. An indirect is if you were around somebody that was around somebody that tested positive. So that's kind of the difference. You'll still have to provide us a negative test to get back on the court, but it's not as significant as the positive test. Finally, if it was a league exposure, we'll notify you if you've been considered close contact. That means if you were reffing a game and there was a kid or a parent that tested positive, we would let you know. Tests are recommended, but we wouldn't require you guys to get one unless you were feeling under the weather or something before you return to the court. So those are kind of our protocols when it comes to COVID. If you guys want to dive a little bit deeper into that, have any other questions, you can touch base with Ches and or Jeremy about that. Those are kind of what we kind of went with our soccer program as well. And it seemed like things went pretty well with that. And so we're kind of adopting those guidelines and protocols into our basketball program. So just make sure you get that COVID acknowledgement and release form signed off so we're good together on that. And then other than that, I believe that is all we need to talk about when it comes to the COVID protocols. So now we'll go ahead and move on to the next slide. Give me 1 second here. Finally, final thoughts. Kind of what I just went over along with all the scheduling. I know it's a little bit different, but if you have any questions or concerns or anything, you got Chez's cell phone number there and his email address. So make sure you get that. We're looking forward to a great season. Looking forward to having you guys back out on the courts with us. And so we'll plan on getting you guys scheduled here soon and get you guys started next week. We'll see you then. Thanks.